Hey everyone, welcome back to the second episode of the Open World Portal System tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to be focusing on creating a widget menu that will allow the user to select which portal they want to go to anywhere in their open world system. If you missed the first episode where we set up a random portal teleport system, I highly recommend checking that one out first. Before we get started, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content. In this episode, we're going to be building off of the random portal teleport system that we created in the first episode. I'll take a moment to remind you what that was. When you interact with a teleport system, a portal, it randomly chooses another portal in your open world and teleports you to that portal. This is a real basic system, and we're going to build off that to allow the user to select which portal they want to go to after interacting with that portal. To start with, let's go ahead and create our widgets that we're going to use. Let's start with, go to user interface, widget blueprint, user widget, and let's name this one menu widget. This will house the scrollable list for your menu. Inside of this, we want to make sure you have a canvas. Inside the canvas, let's do a vertical box. And then let's wrap this vertical box in a border. So right click, go wrap with border. Go ahead and select your border. Let's set our anchors, make sure it's top left. Let's position this away from that top corner a little bit. And then let's change the size of this to something like that. This background, you can make this any color you want. I'm just going to make it a mostly transparent gray. Let's go ahead and rename our vertical box. We're going to use this later. Name this list item box. And for this, we're going to leave this alone for now. We can make any changes that we want in the future, and go ahead and mark up here, mark is variable, so we can get access to this in our graph. Let's now go create another user widget. We're going to name this list item widget. This will be used to fill in our menu widget. Inside here, we want to, again, make sure you have a canvas. And then we're going to add a text block in here. We want to wrap this in a button. And then we want to wrap the button in a size box. For the size box, go ahead and mark width override and height override. And let's give this just maybe a 280 and a 40. For the button, we could change the background of this button just to make it a little different than the menu background. Probably good for now. Let's see the text. Let's go ahead. For our text, let's set our anchors to center. Um, let's rename this as well to list item text and make sure this says is variable. Actually, for this, let's set our anchors to this fill screen. And then let's change these around. I think that should be good for now. For our button, go ahead and open up your button here. Actually, the text. Let's open this text. And this we're going to bind to an event. And then here we need to, we're just going to use this to get the name of whatever list item that we click. So let's create a new variable and just call this name for now. This will be a text. Let's go ahead and make this visible and just plug that in right there. Over in your event graph, let's go ahead and do an OnClick for this. So if you highlight your button and then come down to OnClick and add that, let's jump over to our menu widget real quick and go into that graph. In this graph, off of our, go ahead and set up your event construct here. Come off this, say get all actors of class. And this is going to be that portal class so that we can see all the portals. Out of this array, go ahead and say for each. Go ahead and connect that up. Out of this, we want to say get name. We want to get the name of our portal. From your loop body, come over and say create widget. This is going to be our list item widget. Out of this, let's go ahead and say set name. This will set the name of that, of the text, and we want to set it to the one we get here. After we set this name, let's pull back out of here and say add. So let's pull our list item box out, say get, and from here say add child. Connect that up. And this content is going to be this widget. This is what we're adding to our main menu. And then from here, we need to jump back over to your list item widget and go to this event dispatcher. And let's add an event dispatch. And we're going to call this on list item clicked. This is going to act as a listener to see if we get our item clicked, and go ahead and pull this out and say call. If you click in your event dispatcher list, click this, and then we want to add an input right here. This input we want to call clicked item text, and this is going to be a text. And this text is going to be, if we pull our list item text out, get that, and say get text, and connect that. Now, if we jump back over to our menu widget, off of this, we want to pull off this and say bind event or pull out of your return node and say bind event to on list item clicked. You will have to pull that out of your create widget to get access to it from that list item widget. And then off of this is we're binding this event to go ahead and drag off of this, and we want to add a custom event that we're going to name update portal name. So when this list item is clicked, we're going to update the portal name with whatever the name is for that. So let's go ahead and say promote the variable here, and let's rename this to portal name, and it is a text. That's what all we should need in here for now. We will come back to this in a little bit. We'll need to add some functions, a function call back to our portal blueprint. Let's go ahead and open up our portal blueprint now. This is our random portal system, and we're going to be making quite a few changes to this. There are some things we no longer need since we're not going to random portals, and there are some things that we need to add. So for this first part, once we start, this all will remain the same. For the on component begin overlap, this is going to change pretty drastically. So for now, we can actually remove all of this. And then off of your execution pin, let's say create widget. And this is going to be our menu widget. From here, we're going to promote this to a variable. And this new variable we're going to name portal menu so that we can access it later. And then from this portal menu, after we set this, we're going to say add to viewport. And now if we go test this, we should see our menu pop up once we overlap, and we do. Our text is a little off, so we can go work with that and get that straightened out. Go back to your list item widget designer. So for this, we really just need to move some of this around. We might do something like this. See what that looks like. A little too much. Let's do -50. That looks pretty good. So let's leave it like that for now. Everything's in the box like it's supposed to be, so we can work with that. Let's go back to our portal blueprint. Now that we can see the widgets menu pop up, let's go ahead and set this to, we're going to set it to where we can use our mouse to interact with it. You can set up different keys for different platforms. For this project, I'm just going to set it up to use the computer mouse. Let's say set input mode UI only. This will stop my player from being able to move around and let me use my mouse and inputs. We need the player controller to say get player controller to tell it which controller we're going to stop. You want to mark this flush input. This will stop all inputs once you change this. If you don't mark this, your player will continue using that last input, like so. I've stopped pressing it and the player is trying to walk in that direction. So go ahead and mark this, and this will stop your player from moving around. I can no longer interact with my player. Once we stop the player and allow the mouse to click around, we want to also show the mouse. So from our player controller, let's say show mouse cursor, set that, and we're going to set this to true. Now, once I overlap with this, I see my mouse, my player is stopped, I can't move, and I can click on some buttons. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to, on our Git portal, this also is going to change pretty drastically. So we can go ahead and move these out of the way for now. Break that link, and let's say off here, say get all widgets of class. Make this menu widget. We only have one of these, so it's not going to be too big of an issue that we're going to do for each. Just to get access to our widget off of the array element, we're going to say get portal name. Sorry, we need to set up a Git Portal function in our portal interface. So let's go ahead and open up our portal interface. In here, add a new function. Name this Git Portal name. Git Portal name needs an output, And we'll just name this portal name for now. And this will be a text. Let's go ahead and save that. If we go over to our menu widget and into the graph, let's go to class settings and scroll down to implemented interfaces, and we want to add this portal interface. And then go ahead and double click Git Portal Name in your interface menu. And in here, we're going to take our portal name out of here and just plug it in right there. And for now, that's all we need in this menu, or this widget. So now if we go back to our portal blueprint and back to your Git Portal event, go from your array element of this for each coming out of the Get All Widgets of class and say Git Portal name, and we're going to use this interface target. Out of the Git Portal name function, we're going to promote this to a variable, and let's name this portal name and keep that as a text. From here, we're no longer going to do this random, so let's remove that. And we need our all portals. Let's come out of all of our portals and do another for each loop. Connect that up. And this for each, we're going to check the name of the element coming out to the portal name that's being set on the click. So come off of your array element, say get name, grab that variable, and then do equals exactly text and connect the other side to your portal name. Now for this, if this is true, so grab a branch. If this is true, we want to set the other portal, the portal we're going to teleport to the array that this array name is equal to the portal we've selected. So go ahead and drag this array element there over to set other portal. Here we're still going to go ahead and print the string of that name so we know which portal we're going to, and then we're going to still teleport to that portal. So let's go alter our teleport real quick. This is mostly going to stay the same. We're still going to keep this delay just so we can not teleport immediately. We can remove that and nothing will happen. On the back end of this, though, we're actually going to change the way we're resetting our teleport. So let's go ahead and bring this down here. We're going to call reset teleport after we teleport. And then our reset teleport is going to look completely different. We no longer need to pass the teleport information to our character since we're not using the was teleported to keep us from randomly teleporting all over the place. So we can go ahead and remove that. From here, grab your portal menu reference out of your variables, say get, and we want to say remove from parent. This will remove that menu from the screen. Once we reset, we also want to get our player controller, and we're going to reset our input mode. So say set input mode, and we want to go back to game only. Still use that flush input just to keep everything smooth. And then from here, we want to come off of our get player controller and say set mouse. And now we no longer want to set this to true, so keep that as false. Go ahead and compile that. Another thing that we want to do is once we leave the box, if we're not interacting with this, for now we actually won't be able to run around, so we're going to not use the end overlap yet. Let's see what that looks like once we get there. So the next thing we need to do is go back to our menu widget. And after we set this portal name, come off of this and we want to say get actor of class, not actors, just a single actor. And we want to say that portal. And from here, we're going to call get portal, which will allow us to get the portal that we click and teleport to that portal. Go ahead and compile that. And then let's go test it. So if we run this, once we cross into a portal, we can select which one we want to go to. Let's select pond, tells us which one we're going to, and teleports us to it. So our menu isn't being destroyed. Let's go see what that's about. But if I go back into this, it gives me my mouse again, and I can select another one, portal 2. Same thing. If I can actually go back to portal 2 and it'll teleport me to that same portal because we took away that remove from the array. So this is working. Let's figure out why this isn't removing once we teleport. Should be removing it right here. So we do need to add in a component end overlap. That seems to be what the issue is. So click your box collision, and let's say end overlap, and take the add-on component end overlap. And from here, we just want to grab our portal menu reference. We'll get that, and we'll say remove from parent. Go ahead and compile, save that, see if that fixed our issue. If I select pond, it'll teleport me to the pond. And now the menu is gone, and I can go back in to get the menu again. We'll do portal 1. That didn't fix it. Let me look again. Okay, so the way we're going to fix this is we're going to check all of our existing widgets here. So out of your reset teleport, we're no longer just going to use this portal menu. I'm having an issue. I guess there's more instances that it's creating as we're interacting with. So come off of your reset teleport and say get all widgets of class. Set it to that menu widget. From here, do a for each loop. This will find if any of those widgets still exist at this point. We're going to loop through all of them. And this is what we're going to remove. So drag out of your array here, disconnect from here back because we don't need to loop through change in the input mode and things like that. So off your complete, set that up. And this should take care of it. Fingers crossed. Let's compile that and go test. If I go to Portal 2 and it disappeared, let's try Pond. Disappeared. Let's try going to the same portal I'm at. And that seems to fix it. So a few things you can do with this. You can actually drag as many of these as you want out into the world. Make sure you give them some kind of name to test with. Let's do a few random names here and throw these all over your open world. And it adds them to your list. So we'll go to Glyph, go to Outpost. Some other things you can do that would probably be beneficial is to come in here and kind of mess with the look of all of this. Make it look however you want. You can add frames, borders, different art, textures, all kinds of stuff to these. See if that looks a little better on our menu. Kind of. It needs to kind of be centered in the actual block itself now. Wrong thing. Maybe that was right to begin with. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that looks a little better. So that's going to do it for this episode. In this episode, we created a widget that allows the user to select which portal they want to go to anywhere in their open world. In the next episode, we'll be adding some visual effects and animations to our portal to make it even more immersive. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more episodes, including the next one in this series. As always, happy developing, and I'll see you in the next one.